Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Huck. Today I am doing a review of Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb. This is the first book in her Live Ship Traders trilogy, and which is the second series in the realm of the Elderlings. Ship of Magic is a multi-perspective fantasy that of course follows many characters, but its main character, I would say, is Althea. Althea's family owns a live ship. Live ships are magical ships that have their own sentience, and so they are extremely valuable because they are much safer and faster and just like all around better ships than anything else. Althea is hoping to inherit her family's ship, but her family doesn't want her to, and so there are a lot of politics that go on within the family to prevent Althea from inheriting it. But Althea is determined to get her family's live ship, and so she sets off to find a way to win back the ship. And so this book has a lot of stuff going on. As I said, there's a lot of family politics, but there are also pirates and slave traders and sea serpents and some very mysterious people who live up in the rain wilds that we don't really know much about, but I'm hoping we will find out more in the rest of the series. This book takes place in the realm of the Elderlings, like her first series, the Farseer trilogy. However, it does not take place in the Six Duchies. This is in a different country. They do reference the Six Duchies a couple of times, but this is definitely in a different place. We also get to find out more about some of the other countries and islands around because they are sailing on ships. They are trading, and we follow some pirates also. And so we learn a little bit more about the world, and this book definitely expands on the world and the setting. Robin Hobb does a very good job of creating a very tangible world for us to be in and for her characters to live in terms of the settings and the cultures and the people, and it is really interesting to see all of the different places that they go and learn more about another part of the realm of the Elderlings. In terms of the plot, it is a very slow moving plot, and I think that it kind of dragged in some places. There were definitely some spots that were much more interesting and exciting than others, but it wasn't really consistent throughout. Also, with a book this size, this book is 880 pages, I was kind of expecting it to cover more plot. It is very detailed and in-depth with the family dynamics and politics and like letting you know all these different perspectives of what is happening, because it follows a lot of different character perspectives. So if you like a lot of detail and being able to see the world and what is happening from lots of different points of views, then you'll probably really enjoy this one. I do like multi-perspective stories, but personally I think that this one went a little bit overboard for me. It was just a few too many perspectives, and having so many perspectives slowed down the plot. And for the amount of book that this is, I was expecting to kind of get through a little bit more actual plot line, and at the end it didn't really come to any fruition. I know this is the first book in a series, in a trilogy, and so the overarching plot will, you know, take place in the next two books, but I was expecting a little bit more of something wrapped up by the end of 880 pages. In terms of the characters, there are quite a few characters, as I have said, and there are lots and lots of viewpoints. And for me, I like having the multi-perspective, but again, I think it was just a few too many. I felt like when there are too many perspectives, it makes it difficult for me to really connect or really get to know any of the characters. So I would have preferred if this had focused on fewer characters but more in depth. The main character Althea I really liked, and I would have loved to have more page time with her. I thought that her character was really interesting because she definitely is flawed. She can be very brash and bold, but she can also be kind of bratty. She's very much that she wants what she wants, but she's also willing to do whatever she has to get what she wants. So she will work for it, which I really liked about her. I also liked that with Althea, she has at least a little bit of self-awareness. She knows that sometimes she makes bad decisions. She knows that she can be kind of bratty sometimes, and she's a little aware of that, and so the glimmer of self-awareness makes those flaws less frustrating to read and lets her be a more sympathetic character, to me at least. I just like that even though she is flawed, at least she's not completely blind to her flaws. Althea actually reminded me a little bit of Delilah Bard from the Shades of Magic series. I think that they have a lot of things in common, except Althea has that glimmer of self-awareness. She's aware that she doesn't always make good decisions. She's aware that she can be kind of bratty. And so that is kind of what made me like her better, because she had that self-awareness, that she had a little bit of humility, even if she was this like bold, brash, bratty kind of person. At least she like knew that about her and knew that she had space to grow, but she also didn't let that stop her. And I think that Robin Hobb does a really good job of making very full-rounded characters that you can really understand. They are often very flawed, but they feel very real and you can really understand them. And also making characters that you have, at least I had very strong opinions about. There's a character in here named Kyle who I just absolutely hated. So there was quite a range of characters, from ones that I really liked to ones that I absolutely hated. But she does a very good job of really evoking emotions regarding these characters. And I just wish that there had been a little bit fewer characters so that I could have gotten to know some of them more in depth and gotten really more attached to them. Because we didn't get to spend as much time with individual characters, there is a point where two characters sleep together, and to me it felt kind of out of the blue because I didn't feel like there was enough build-up to it. And I think that it was supposed to seem like it was something that was kind of a long time coming, but it felt kind of sudden and rushed to me because there wasn't enough build-up, there wasn't enough time with the individual characters. So things like that, I would have really liked more time with the characters. The writing of the book I think was really good. I always really enjoy Robin Hobb's writing style. I find it very immersive. It's the kind of writing that I have a hard time describing because I find it so immersive and so easy to read that I'm not really aware of it while I read. And so it's hard for me to kind of explain what it is like, but I think that her writing is really, really well done. Her writing is very detailed, and so the book is very slow paced, but again, you get a very rounded view of the world and the story and the characters. So if you like that level of detail, you probably would really like this. One of the things that I am not a big fan of with this book, and I feel like is kind of the theme of Robin Hobb's books, is that I feel like it is just a continuous downward spiral of like terrible thing after terrible thing happening to the characters. And some people really praise her for not being afraid to hurt her characters or to torture her characters or just to have terrible things happen to them. And I do think that that is really good, that it doesn't have to be like a really happy story all the time. But to me personally, I find that just like continuous, just like bad thing after bad thing to be kind of exhausting and eventually boring to read. I prefer stories that have a little bit more ebb and flow to them, a little more balance in them, and I find that more engaging for longer periods of time. So that was one problem that I did have with this book and the writing, was that it just felt like it was so consistently negative and there wasn't really a balance or an ebb and flow to the story. So I got kind of bogged down and I had a hard time staying engaged just because I don't find that the most interesting storyline. I like having a little more balance in stories. Overall, I did enjoy the book. I thought that the writing is really well done. I think that the world and the characters are well done. I just think that the pacing could have been a little more consistent. I do think that the book probably could have been cut down a little bit. We could have had fewer character perspectives, had more time with individual characters, and I do think the story could have benefited from a little bit more balance or like ebb and flow to the story instead of just being so consistently negative. But overall, I did enjoy it. I gave it a 3.75. I do plan to continue the series. So that is all for my review of Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb. Let me know in the comments if you have read this book and what you thought of it. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, bye!